Okay, I call this regular meeting to order at 6:34 p.m. We're going to have the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Hoying.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Adrian, please call the roll.
Commissioner Cabot,
Present.
Commissioner Dong, absent. Commissioner Wong, Vice Chair Rodriguez,
Present.
Chair Barantes.
Present. Okay, we'll do the approval of the agenda order. Are there any objections to the agenda order? If there's no objections, state hearing none, the agenda order is approved. No? Okay. Is there a motion to approve the agenda order?
Oh, we don't need it.
Yeah, so as long as there's no objections,
Okay.
then we'll just continue
move
moving
on.
through the agenda.
Okay. We will now have a few announcements by the Community Services Assistant Director, Matthew Morales-Stevens.
Tonight's meeting is live streamed on Cable Channel 3 and our online platforms. If you wish to address the Community Services Commission during tonight's meeting, we request that you please complete a speaker's card and hand it to the clerk, Adrian Franquez. When speaking, please state your name for the record. If you wish to be added to the distribution list to receive Community Services Commission agendas, please email your request to cscommission@sgch.org.
Public comment. This is a time set aside for members of the public to address the Community Services Commission on items of interest that are not on the agenda but are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Commission. Pursuant to the Brown Act, the Community Services Commission cannot answer any questions or take any action until such time as the matter may appear as an item on a future agenda. Adrian, do we have any public comments for tonight's meeting?
We do not.
All right. Approval of minutes. The minutes are a record of the official actions taken at the Community Service Commission regular meeting of July 7th, 2025. Matthew, do we have any public comments on the action item?
We do not.
The time for public comment on this item is now closed. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the Community Services Commission regular meeting of July 7th, 2025?
Also move.
Second.
Okay, I'll take the vote. Commissioner Cabot,
Aye.
Commissioner Dong is absent. Commissioner Wong, Vice Chair Rodriguez,
Aye.
Chair Barantes.
Aye.
Motion passed by a vote of 4 ayes, 0 nays, 0 abstentions, and 1 absent.
All right. Discussion items, all right, events and program updates. Staff to provide an update on the planning process and recaps for certain programs and events. Adrian, do we have any public comments on the discussion item?
We do not.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the time for public comment on this item is now closed.
So I'll go ahead and get us kicked off. So staff have prepared several recaps. So it's all of the school year into this past summer, 2025. We will also touch base on a few of the upcoming projects, but those will be kind of brief updates. The staff will be delving in more deeply to a recap of all of the items. So to get us kicked off, we'll start with Anna.
Hi. Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. My name is Anna Casillas, and I'm one of the Recreation Supervisors. I'm here to talk and give a brief recap on summer camp as well as our past school year youth programs. So, looking first at summer camp. This past year, we offered 10 weeks of summer camp, just like always. Our first 9 weeks were offered at Coolidge Elementary, and our last week was at the Mission Playhouse Glassroom. Our summer camp was offered to ages 5 through 12, And we had hours from 8 to 5, and then extended hours for additional fee from 7 a.m. till 6 p.m. So this year we had enrollment of 911 total participants, which was great. We did a variety of amazing activities. Every week had a theme, and all of the activities tied into that theme. Each week had a weekly swimming excursion, as well as a STEAM activity. Last year, we introduced STEAM, and it was so popular, we integrated it into the weekly curriculum. We also have field trips, both going to a place as well bringing in someone to visit us. And of course, our twice-a-day arts and crafts, our outdoor recreation activities, reading time, and indoor games. So some of the highlights, looking first at our field trip, was the Aquarium of the Pacific. The kids loved it. They were overjoyed to see all the different fishes and animals. And also we went to Adventure City, and so they had a blast going on all the rides. One of the weeks that I want to highlight is Career Week. We themed it, Oh, the Places You'll Go. And then we introduced the kids to different careers by having guest presenters. So this was a really fun way to get kids introduced to different careers. So we had a baker, we had an actor, we had a sports announcer, as well as police department, the fire department came out, and a librarian. So this was a great way, and they tried to make it as hands-on as possible for the kids to really have fun with this. So we definitely loved it. The kids seemed to respond well. It gave a chance for parents to get involved as well. Another highlight that's not on there, but in your report, is for the last week, we introduced a talent show. So all the kids got to perform. They're divided into age groups, 3 different age groups. The rec leaders worked really hard with them, so they had 2 different songs or skits ready. They all got on stage and got a chance to perform at at the Mission Playhouse. And then if anyone had additional talents, then we allowed solos and duets and things like that. So it was a great experience. Some of them got a little nervous, but it was a chance of a lifetime to get up there in this magnificent theater and perform for the parents and other students. So we definitely want to keep that again next year. We want to keep growing the guest presenters, because that was really kind of a nice way to incorporate more activities for the kids, and they seem to really like it. And so that's a lot of the highlights of summer camp. So switching gears and looking at the school year, our after-school program, I'm just going to recap it a little. We have it for 1st through 5th graders at 4 different schools. So we at Coolidge, McKinley, Wilson, and Washington. And we offer a variety of activities. We have homework time, of course. And then we also have twice a week arts and crafts. We do outdoor play. We do different games. And then we have our monthly highlights, which we've talked a little bit about, but we try to explore STEAM activities, art, culinary, just a wide variety. And this might be those pen pal letters that we talked about, or those cultural highlights, or them doing STEAM activities by making that penny boat and seeing how many pennies fit on the boat before they start sinking. So the kids respond really well to that. You're looking at a picture of our Star of the Month. So every school gets a chance to highlight a student from the month, and they get the little certificate, and there's the reasons usually tie into good behavior, or we try to tie it into the portraits of a graduate traits that the school district also highlights. So the kids really like this. We're continuing it this year. One of the schools is even having the kids vote for it to get even more kind of involvement, which has been huge. The kids have really enjoyed that. So that's our after-school program. We have our monthly newsletters that go out as well. So the parents really enjoyed that. Switching over to our youth sports program. So that was hosted at Jefferson Middle School. We had 4 different sports. So we had flag football, volleyball, basketball, and then soccer. They were all very popular, but we had to have teams. So they would have tryouts, and then we'd form the teams, JV and varsity teams. You're looking at the picture of a basketball team. This is one of our uniforms that they're very proud of, and they got to chance not only to learn the fundamentals, grow their skills, learn drills, learn different plays, but they also got a chance to play against other cities in games. And so this gives them that real life experience to really test their skills, working as a team, practice their sportsmanship, and handle winning as well as losing, because that's a big growing point. And so we were very proud of them. They all loved it. Again, this year we had a great turnout for tryouts. Right now we are in volleyball and flag football season, so hopefully in a couple months I'll have an update on how that's going. And then last but not least, we introduced a new program. This is called Kids Paint Night. So we offered it on Friday night, June 20th, from 6 to 7:30 or 6 to 7 p.m. And this was held at our dance room at the Community Recreation Center. So this is a great chance for kids to come in. It's led by a recreation staff. It's themed every month or every offering. So this first one was pajama kids paint night theme. So they came in their pajamas, and they got a chance to do an art activity, kind of a warm-up one. So we did sponge art using kind of a silhouette, and they did a negative silhouette. You take it off, and then you're left with the outline in it. They really liked it. They got a chance to get their hands dirty, which what kid doesn't like? And then they switched gears. They went to the corner where we have pillows and blanket, and our staff read a book to them that tied into kind of that pajama night theme. And then once they were done there, they went back to their stations, and they had a canvas, and our staff led them step by step, creating a canvas painting. It's open for 5 through 12, so the staff did a good job of tailoring it for the little kids and then making it a little harder for those older kids as well. This cost $10 per person, and we had 17 kids enrolled. As they left, all of them were talking about how much they liked it. The parents really liked it. We did just offer another offering of it, and we have another one planned in December. So we hope that it keeps growing and that people keep loving it, and hopefully it sells out and is crazy popular. So that's Kids Paint Night. And I think that's all for me. Any questions on any of my section before I turn it over?
Just a question on the summer camp.
Sure.
When the kids performed at the Mission Playhouse,
Yes.
any chance that there's any opportunity for them to open it up to the public, like, hey, watch these kids perform or something?
Yeah, I mean, technically it was a public offering. We mainly wanted the parents and people to come out so they didn't get too overwhelmed that it was, a bunch of people. But yes, I mean, if the commissioners want to come out or some friends of the family want to come out, I think that would be a great idea.
Okay, thank you.
I am just so impressed with, first of all, how many kids come out. That's very impressive. You have your hands full with all of these kids.
But it's so fun.
Well, I'm glad you think so. That's a bonus right there. Plus, I'm just very impressed with all the programs you're offering, and they seem to be really, really fun. These are new things we haven't done before, I think, a lot of them, right?
We keep trying to enhance them. So summer camp and after school, of course, we've had, but we keep trying to enhance and keep them fresh and new and evolving. So yes, that's new. We add new elements to them, and then Kids Paint Night is brand new.
But can you expound a little bit on what the STEAM activities are? I just saw,
Sure. Oh, yes. For summer camp?
yeah.
Yes.
Think of exploding volcano,
Yeah.
ice cream in a bag. I mean, they sound great. Can you tell us a little more about it?
Sure. So for the volcanoes, that was a week-long project, and this is one of their favorites. They get into little groups of 5 or 6 kids. We give them cardboard, and then they kind of together make the base of their volcano. And in some cases, they look very volcano-like. In other cases, they look a little less volcano-like. And then they get a chance to paint them. So that takes a couple days. And then on the last day, of course, then we add the baking soda and vinegar, and then it gets to explode. And they added food dyes, so they got to pick green or red or whatever color, and they loved it. So that was the exploding volcanoes.
You're very brave, by the way, to do that with a multitude of kids, for sure. Okay, go
Yes,
ahead.
the
I'm
rec
sorry.
staff did a great job. The summer camp leaders were great.
Okay.
And then for the ice cream in a bag, it's pretty much what it sounds like.
Yeah.
We got, cocoa powder and the half and half and the ice and salt, and then they shook until eventually it turns into ice cream.
That's very cool.
And so they were very excited because they got to eat it. Some of it turns into solid ice cream, some of it's a little liquidy, but they did not care. They were very excited
Yeah.
to have ice cream.
Well, I think that's wonderful. I mean, I would have enjoyed doing them. Well, thank you for all these innovative ideas. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
I had a question for the summer camp. You said you plan to have more guest speaker or presenters. How are you reaching out to the potential future presenters? Are they going to be family members or are they city worker type deal?
So some of both. So I mean, obviously for the fire department and police, that was city workers, and that they were great. For some of the other guest presenters, they were parents of some of the kids that were in the summer camp. So we did a call for them really early, and then we could get them booked for later weeks. We also reached out to like the San Gabriel Public Library, and they sent a librarian over to talk about their reading program and their librarian things. And some of it, you know, we can reach out to different connections. So that's how we keep wanting to evolve it and keep adding it, because they seem to really like it, and it was just a nice way to bring a more real world touch to the camp.
Yeah. Okay. And the kids' paint night, I don't know, for some reason that's the first time I'm hearing it, so.
Oh, okay.
I just want to see, it looks like you had 17 enrollees. Do you know the age group, or was it mostly younger kids on the?
It is skewed a little bit more younger. We had a lot of like 5 to 7 year olds, but we did have some older kids. And so that's why we did tailor it a little bit for those kids, because the painting might
Okay.
be too simple for them. So then
Yeah.
we added like harder techniques for them. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. Those are the only questions I had for that, so thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay.
I have another comment now that I see your older adult arts program.
Oh.
And I know you're going to come up to that.
Yeah.
But this would tie in, do you ever consider having some of the adults that paint to come in and help with this Kids Fun Night?
Oh, that's a great idea. I had not considered that, but that's definitely something to think about. That would be.
I think it'd be
really
good for both of them.
Yeah, a kind of mingling of.
Right. And, you know, they don't have to be fabulous artists. They just have to have patience with the kids, and the kids have to enjoy some extra help with that.
Yeah.
I think that's
No.
something to consider.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, then I'll turn it over. Thanks.
All right. So the next up will be our Summer in San Gabriel series, as well as the aquatics programs, and Andy Shoup, Recreation Supervisor, will be providing that update for you.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. As Matthew said, I'm here to discuss Summer in San Gabriel, as well as our summer aquatics programming. So this summer, we had our Summer in San Gabriel. We did this over 3 different nights, and each of these nights focused on a different culture or theme. The first of the 2 nights celebrated the rich culture found within China, as well as throughout Latin America. We tried to have live performances, live music, as well as the arts and crafts, and the featured film of each night tie into the highlighted culture that we had there. So we had great turnouts for these. People were very excited to be there. The first night we had about 125 people, but it picked up quite a bit the second night when we ended up with 250 people come out for our Latin American culture night. So those worked out well. The final night was actually unique to the city. It was our first time offering a silent disco. So we built this night as a sensory sensitive experience, kind of targeting that group. And that is because the silent disco utilizes headphones, and we had 3 different playlists. So the participant could put on the headphones and select the playlist they wanted to listen to, but they could also select the volume they wanted that playlist at. So the 3 playlists we had were varying. So we had our mellow kind of lo-fi beats, we had our kids' Disney music, and we also had a more upbeat EDM playlist as well. So that, coupled with the ability to select your own volume, and some people just had their headphones off, which made everything a little bit more calm. So that kind of really allowed those with sensory sensitivities to enjoy a night at the park without having to worry. They could be there for the event, and then they could stay for the movie as well and kind of enjoy their general night worry-free. So the overall feedback from those who came to the event was extremely positive. So we are working as a group to figure out more events that can include a silent disco, so we continue to bring that to the community and also continue to have those with sensory sensitivities involved in our various programming. So we'll move on to summer at the pool. So last summer, overall programming was limited because we were short on staff. So we spent a lot of the off-season focusing really on early recruitment efforts as well as in-house training and certification programs with the goal of boosting our staff numbers, which then will help us boost our programming numbers. So ultimately, we were successful in those efforts. We were able to offer, or reintroduce, I should say, lap swimming, which was 3 days per week. We were able to grow our Learn to Swim, our swim lesson program by 46%, which brought us to the total of 695 participants. And then we also added 2 more days of our public swimming program. Now, the public swimming edition, we offered a Monday and a Tuesday night. The Monday proved to not be as popular, so we discontinued that, and we'll figure out a better way to add that to the programming for next year. But overall, the attendance in those classes grew quite a bit. We also were able to launch our adaptive swim lesson program, and that was with the goal of offering more inclusive and adaptive recreation programs. Now, the adaptive lessons were aimed to kind of create a more calming, comfortable environment for those who just need a little bit more patience and less distractions during the lessons. So we offered that on Saturdays for 1 cycle with a limited capacity. And we crafted it that way because we wanted to really gauge community interest, but we also needed to gauge the effectiveness of our lessons as well as the effectiveness of our overall registration program to make sure we're getting the right people and teaching those people in the way they need to be taught. So ultimately, we saw that there was a great community interest in the program, but we also learned that we do need to make some adjustments to the way we're handling registrations. And then again, the lesson format is going to have some tweaks as well. But we're going to spend the summer, or the off season, I should say, getting ready for summer of 2026. We plan to continue offering these lessons. We're going to continue working on our early recruitment efforts to further expand the staff to, again, further grow the programming, and with the general goal of having a busier summer this year than we did next summer. So with that, that's my updates for the summer in San Gabriel as well as summer aquatics. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Andrew,
Hello.
quick question. Is there anything distinct that you guys did that increased the participation?
Really, we worked on different advertising. The main thing was the community interest was there. So last summer we were more turning people away, especially for swim lessons, because we just didn't have the staff to accommodate. So we continued our normal advertising efforts this year, and because we had more staff, we were able to open up far more swim lessons. So we had much smaller wait lists this year and much fuller class lists. So that helped. The interest is there. It was just getting the staff that would enable us to grow the programming. So that was really helpful, just growing the staff to allow the people. So we still had wait lists, so I know we can offer more swim lessons next year as we continue to grow the size of the staff.
Oh, that's great. So there's more potential there.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Well, first of all, thank you for all you did. It's very impressive. But I really like your silent disco program.
It was a good night.
I think that would work on many levels. And I, for one, as a senior, would want it on low. Seriously, you get sensory overload.
Mm-hmm.
And this is such a good idea. I'd never heard of that before. Well, kudos to you for bringing that into San Gabriel, and I hope you continue that.
I think we
That's
definitely will,
wonderful.
absolutely.
Sounds like you're doing the best you can with the swim program with what you have available, right?
That's right. We'll keep it growing as well.
Good for you. Thank you for all you do.
Hey, Andy.
Hello.
All right, so I want to piggyback on that. The silent disco, I'm impressed with those numbers, 181. That's really good.
It was pretty good. It was a free event. It was our first one, so we weren't really sure how it was going to go, but I was very happy with the numbers, and the people who were there had a great time. It was so much fun watching them. Watching everybody dance literally to a different beat was hilarious. but it was also great because if you can't dance, nobody really knows what you're listening to anyway, so people were a little bit more free to just kind of do their own thing.
Dance
so
like nobody's watching.
it was
right?
great. It was a
That's
fun little night.
great.
Very nice. In regards to the increase in numbers, do you think the fact that we had two sessions or for city residents and none?
Yeah, we had the 2 registration
Do you
dates.
think that increased the numbers somehow, or?
I think it helped. We had the 2 registration dates.
Uh-huh.
We had resident registration opened, and then a week later, non-resident opened, and then we did it again halfway through the summer for the other cycles. Now, we saw quite a few registrations in the first 3. That was part of the first batch of enrollment. And then I think having the second one might even have hurt us a little bit because people weren't able to register for those cycles just yet. So I think people who needed swim lessons during that time frame probably sought them in other cities where they could register earlier, because we did notice a bit of a dip in overall enrollment. The first 3 cycles were much more full than the second 3. So, and by first I mean the cycle 1, cycle 2, and Saturdays. And then 3, 4, 5, and 6 were the other ones. So I believe having that second one probably maybe even saw a dip in the numbers. So I do think it allowed people who maybe missed registration elsewhere to register. So it's a little bit of both. But I think ultimately having one registration date might be the way to go. But it's certainly something that we'll have to discuss quite a bit before we make some more changes.
Do you think the city residents weren't aware that they didn't have to kind of, if they didn't,
No, I
they
think-
could have waited type deal to get that second registration?
Maybe. I think there might have been a fear that if they did wait, they would miss out.
Mhm.
So I know the vast majority of the people who took our lessons were city residents.
Okay.
Something like 92%, something
Okay.
like that. So I think city residents were well aware, and the bulk of
Okay.
the people who registered for, or within that second registration timeframe were also city residents. So it's hard to say, but we definitely saw a dip in the numbers from the first 3 to the second 3.
Okay. Moving on to adaptive swim, I want to say I signed my son up for that, and it was great. I mean, the smaller class size was great. They need that. I mean, with the regular class, all the children, they're excited. They're swimming, they're splashing, they're screaming, they're talking to each other, and it's hard for, those that need that extra help to kind of focus. And then just being able to, they almost pretty much had the one-on-one the whole time. Each swimmer had their own one-on-one. So it was great. And I talked to one lady, Eileen, you know her too well. She loved it. And when I was picking her brain, she was saying that she just happened to find out about it. So I think there needs to be more of a separate posting just for the adaptive swim, not kind of throw it in with the regular, but just something strictly, hey, this is adaptive swim. Maybe get that out more. I don't know if you guys reached out to the school district to reach out to the students that might be in those.
We didn't too much. This summer, the main goal, we knew we were going to get
Just try it out.
some enrollment, but it was definitely a try it out kind of
Okay,
thing.
okay.
We didn't want to go too hard on the advertising, knowing that there were people who were absolutely interested, but we definitely needed to keep it smaller enrollment numbers because we wanted to make sure we were teaching the lessons right. We wanted to make sure we were getting the right people enrolled in them. So we purposely kept it pretty small as our nice little soft launch, if you will.
Yeah.
So we've got some lessons learned, so we'll pull that all into next summer and continue to grow it. But yeah, it was definitely planned to be as small as it was.
Will you guys try and implement this for the spring swim?
Spring swim will really depend on our staffing levels. We haven't really
Okay.
discussed adaptive lessons for the spring. We'll most likely offer the general swim lessons like we normally do over the spring break, but we haven't really discussed expanding this one just yet.
Okay. All right.
I just want one more question I want to expound on. Going back to the silent disco, because this is the first time I've heard of it, but that's okay. Did you get the word out what that is all about so the community knows, or am I just missing out on it?
It was a part of the overall advertising for the Summer at St.
Okay.
Gabriel series. So we had the flyer, and each of the nights was on the flyer, and we kind of had it set aside as a sensory sensitive experience
Oh, okay.
on the flyer there. And now that we know that it was a big hit, I think we'll definitely be adding more programs with that, and then we'll really highlight more kind
Yeah.
of what it all is. Absolutely.
Explain it a little more to people so they know, and now that the word is out, I'm sure you'll do well.
I think it'll be good. Yeah,
Thank you.
of course. All right.
I'm good. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
All right. So I'll touch on older adult program recap as well as the Independence Day event recap. Although it feels like July was a year away, it was only a couple months away. Before we kick off older adult programs, I'll just remind the commission and anyone that's listening at home that all of our older adult programs are run by Desiree Gomez, our recreation specialist. She's a part-time employee, so she is able to pack in a lot in a very limited amount of time. So we appreciate all of her efforts, and a lot of the new programming that you'll see or actually all of the new programming, I should say, that you're seeing on the slide was brought forward by Desiree and executed by Desiree. So I'm presenting it, but it is not my work. So to get us started, the City of San Gabriel offers engaging programs for older adults, and then highlights for 2024 include our senior dances. So this is something that was originally offered about every other month. We've pared it down a little bit just to make sure that she has more planning time in between and make sure that we can kind of maximize those resources to make them even bigger and better during those senior dances. Now I say senior dances, but they are open to anyone 18 and over, which we have seen. So the Queen's Ball, Desiree noted that it had a much more kind of intergenerational attendance with that 53 people attending. And all of the dances include decor, DJ, games, and awards. And for the Hearts Day dance on February 21st, that was from 5 to 7:30. That was in the Padillo room, as well as in the breezeway outside of the Padillo room, and then a little bit into the Playhouse Plaza. So it had kind of an indoor-outdoor feel. As you know, the Padillo room isn't the largest space, so having that overflow really maximized how many people we could accommodate for the dance. That had about 50 people in attendance, and then the Queen's Ball, as I mentioned, was hosted in May and had an attendance of 53. And then the Community Art Showcase. So this started off as an idea of how can these seniors that come every week showcase their artwork. We've had them out at the grand reopening when we brought back the senior programs post-COVID, but the attendance was relatively low, unfortunately, as we were still trying to launch back from COVID. But she saw the talent, she saw the need for a formal outlet for the seniors to showcase their art, which then became the Community Art Showcase, because we wanted the general public to come. We also wanted other community members to showcase their art, and it became this really great community feel. It was hosted within the Mission Playhouse lobby. So you had the natural art surroundings, right, of the Playhouse. So that was the backdrop for the event, and then all of the art was scattered throughout the lounge. And then a local real estate group, I believe it's Hero Real Estate, provided the 360 photo booth so people could capture the moment. If you've never been on a 360 photo booth, I encourage you to do so. It is fun, a little weird at first, and then once you figure it out, it's quite the experience. And so that was hosted back in April, and we'll be hosting another one in 2026. The feedback from the artists was overwhelmingly positive. So even though there was 100 people, they were still very pleased to have that number of attendants to really show all of the hard work and heart that they put into their art. She put together something that was a very limited budget and something that enabled it to feel like a real art show that you would see at a formal studio. So she was able to combine all of these different elements to really create something that was well received and something that will certainly continue. In addition to the art, there was refreshments and, as I mentioned, the photo booth. The spring luncheon, so the special luncheons are offered in partnership with the YWCA, who offers our monthly meal program, our weekday meal program Monday through Friday over in the Padillo room. This one was for spring and was offered in May with a special menu and decor. There was about 97 people in attendance. That was utilizing both the Grapevine room and the Padillo room. So it is quite the feat for staff, as other cities may have conjoining rooms or rooms that are next door to each other. We have 2 rooms that are separated by a kitchen and an outdoor space. So trying to check people in and get them from one space to another, to deliver food between the 2 rooms is kind of a logistics challenge, but they have handled it with ease. The feedback from the seniors has been positive. Of course, there was the initial reaction of change from it being just 1 room to 2 rooms, but I think once they saw the benefit of being able to serve more people and having the additional fun elements, they were all very pleased with it. The additional program back in June was the Volunteer Appreciation Dinner. So that was hosted from 4:30 to 6 p.m. in the Grapevine Room. It was the first volunteer appreciation event that was hosted since at least 2018, so prior to the pandemic. And it honored key volunteers from various groups, including the meal program, walking club, and quilting group. In order to host the meal program, there is one paid staff member from YWCA, and then typically 1 to 2 city staff, and the rest are all volunteers. Most of them are senior volunteers that help pass out meals. They are checking people in. They're helping keep people calm in line. They're giving out numbers. Even passing out water or coffee. So they really go above and beyond to make it feel like a kind of home away from home during the meal program. The Walking Club, it's another program that Desiree put together that meets weekly every Wednesday. So there's 1 or 2 volunteers that help ensure that all of the participants have a guide throughout the walk and have someone who's kind of looking out for them during that time. And then the quilting group is a group that has been meeting at least over 10 years in our facilities, and they put together quilts that then they donate to organizations that need it, whether it's a senior living community or a homeless shelter. They kind of pick a group each year, and then they donate what they've worked on throughout the year, typically during December. During that time as well, City Council shared their gratitude via certificates and special words of thanks during the luncheon as well. We had about 24 people in attendance, and I'm sure that will continue to grow. Desiree has been doing a fantastic job of intaking volunteer interest and trying to find the perfect niche for them. And so we'll continue working on bringing in additional volunteers. We've noticed once we've put the feelers out for volunteers, there's a ton of people that want to help. It's just then how do you find the staff to then get them oriented and make sure that they are managed during that time. So that's the element that we're working on right now. How do we have the staff to kind of manage the volunteers? So for our bingo program, the bingo program is offered the 3rd Thursday of the month. Since 2022, the participation has grown from approximately 10 per month to 25 to 30 per month. She, as in Desiree, solicits donations from different healthcare organizations, whether it's an in-kind donation or a financial sponsorship to help offset some of the prizes that they win. They'll also typically have a booth at the event, passing out information. So it's a great event, or a great program that all of the seniors seem to enjoy. So we'll skip along to, where is it? Independence Day. Let me just find it on my screen. Apologies. Okay, there it is. So the Independence Day celebration, as everyone may recall, this is the 2nd annual event hosted over at Gabriel High School on the outdoor field area. We adjusted the time frame slightly, so originally it was hosted from 5 to 9, and then this year we hosted it from 5:30 to 9. So just a half-hour delay in start, but that seemed to be well received as well. People didn't want to wait in the hot sun just for their prime spot, so pushing it back seemed to alleviate some of that pressure. During the event, we had food trucks, watermelon eating contest, community booths, games, live performances, and an enhanced 18-minute drone, laser, and light show. So last year was about an 8 to 10-minute drone show. So this year it was a drone, laser, and light show with extended time. During the event, some highlights included 17 community booths. We scattered them out this year, so if you remember last year, there was only like 2 clusters of community booths, so it became quite congested in those areas, and then that also led to more people only staying to half of the event space. So you had a really high volume of people right near the stage, and then almost no one to the back end where the food trucks were. So that combined with blocking off the middle space for walkways enabled people to kind of spread out through the event and not feel so confined to that space. And I think having hosted the event before, hopefully, people are returning and they're more familiar with the event space, so they don't have that need. Another highlight is that Athens Services, this is the second year in a row that they sponsored as the platinum sponsor for a $20,000 donation. So you may have seen, if you watched the drone show, you saw the little trash truck with the fireworks coming out. So that was to thank them for their $20,000 donation. And improved crowd distribution, as we've mentioned, a larger stage with upgraded LED screen. Last year, if you recall, the trussing above it was very short, so it kind of dwarfed everything else that was there. But once we raised that up, it added volume to the stage. So we actually didn't get a much larger stage, excuse me. But the impact of that combined with the LED screen, which is in the photo as well, that added a different element, right? So it drew your attention more than it did in the prior year. We also added additional live performances. So there was the Artie Loon the Magician. We actually had 2 children's performances scheduled. Only one showed up. It ended up working to our advantage because we needed the extra time, but hopefully we can work in 2 kids' performances next year. It seemed like the kids really enjoyed the Artie Loon the Magician. It was not a very loud or boisterous performance. It wasn't carrying through the entire event, but it added that kids element that sometimes these events don't always have. So that seemed enjoyable. And then the band Those Guys performed. So they're also featured in that photo as well. The top photo is the watermelon eating contest. Yes. Yeah, so Danielle in our office, who's been with us for several years and has seen through the watermelon eating contest, through all of its different renditions. I think she has mastered how best to format the watermelon eating contest. Some planned adjustments for next year include removing the pre-registration requirement. If you recall at one of our prior meetings, I think it was the July meeting actually, we ran into some feedback from residents that the registration process was too lengthy for something like this. And if you recall as well, I provided that in the prior year we did registration through the Mission Playhouse registration system, which is very simple, but it is very costly to the city for a free event, which is why we did not use that this year. We opted for the Civic Rec registration system, which is what we do our classes through, thinking that would be a feasible option since it works so well for classes. Turns out people are not willing to go through that process for a special event, so that is understandable, and we appreciate providing the residents providing that feedback. That way we could make that quick change. So then it ended up being, we had a fast track line, if you will. So those that did pre-register, we had about 1,000 that pre-registered. They were fast tracked and not having to wait through the general line up until I believe the cutoff was 7, and then their space was released if for some reason we met capacity, which we did not this year. And then ensuring the light show is positioned higher than eye level. So the light show component was the bright lights facing into the crowd. So all of the drones are up in the air, and then there were lights coming off of the building. And so some of the feedback that we received, and I think some of the staff also noticed, was that the lights, if you were right in front of those buildings, if you looked up and they were moving, they hit you directly in the eye. So not necessarily the most exciting portion of it. So we'll work with the drone company to make some of those adjustments. That way the lighting is more in the air versus in the crowd. I don't think the same impact was if you were further into the event space, so closer to the food trucks. I don't think that lighting had the same impact, but if you were right by the stage, it definitely had that impact. So those are some of the adjustments. I'm happy to answer any questions about the older adult programs, Independence Day, or anything else on the slides.
Well, I have a couple comments or questions. First of all, on the pre-registration for your 4th of July, you have a limited amount that can come. Did you reach that limit last year?
Yes, so last year we reached capacity and had to start turning people away.
Okay.
This year we did not reach capacity. There were some reservations about individuals coming out during that time.
Okay.
And I think almost every city was seeing low participation in their events
Right.
during that period.
This year, you mean, because of the,
Yes,
okay. So there's not gonna be registration, so you just have to cut it off when it reaches a certain number, right?
correct.
What's the capacity? I don't remember.
It's about 5,000.
Oh, that's pretty good, though. Well, I'll let you get that many. The other thing I wanted to comment on, the Community Art Showcase. I found out about it the last minute from Denise, and it was fabulous. I was so impressed by the artwork of these artists, and I'm so glad you're showcasing it, because it was very professional. They put a lot of hard work in, so we need to continue that and let them continue. And to piggyback on what I said about the little kids, you might want to have a little showcase for them as well. They love that kind of stuff, and it would be an easy thing to do and to combine them. I think that's all I have to say.
I have a question. For next year, for the Independence Days celebration in Gabriel High, if the maximum capacity is at 5,000, do you think there's going to be a problem with parking in San Gabriel Boulevard?
Yes, so definitely parking and traffic is a consideration. But our first year, we hit capacity, so the entire area surrounding Gab High School gets very congested. But I will say that the police department has kind of plans for plans. So if one thing changes, then another one kind of goes into effect. And we've made adjustments throughout from one year to another to help facilitate, especially the exit. So usually for this event, there's less of an issue in terms of people coming into the event and more of an issue of people exiting the event, because everyone's trying to leave at one time versus everyone or the majority of people kind of scattering throughout the event as they're entering. But in terms of parking, yes, parking would definitely be impacted. The residential neighborhood is also impacted, which is why we close off some of the streets, or we take off, no turning during this time period. And then we also send out resident letters, and they're aware of the impact and can make other arrangements if they see fit. But the police department does a great job of trying to mitigate some of those as best as possible. Of course.
Just to piggyback on that, because we kind of anticipated the parking situation, so my whole family, we just rode our bikes going there. Not sure if that's something that, because we didn't see any communication on, hey, maybe find alternative ways to go to the event. And then because we had to ask the staff around if there's a specific area for parking the bikes. They said not really, there wasn't a specific one, but since everyone just started locking their bikes on the fence, we did it too. But I mean, it was just us following everyone else, but I'm not sure if that was the right thing to do. So maybe if there could be a guideline on that, and it'll be good, because if people have other alternative ways like scooters or whatever that they could
Right.
just bring in. But that was helpful even for us coming in and out of the event. But overall, the event was good. I think it also helped that it did not hit capacity, so it was more manageable in terms of doing everything. But I mean, you guys are the experts. I have a feeling that even with a pre-registration, if it will be taken off for next year, for example, if it'll be more, just trying to figure out how to balance that if we won't have pre-registration and have more people. So, and because I think you guys did the adjustments this year because there weren't that much people who came in, but it might be different next year, so.
Yeah, and so we'll certainly have to evaluate that as it gets closer, and we'll have somewhat of an idea in terms of like traction for social media posts to see like
That's right.
how the interest is ramping up. But it really won't be until the day of to where we see what the actual interest is of the event. So obviously, as I mentioned, there were other external factors that were out of our control, affecting people's willingness to participate, which we anticipated given that other events had happened prior to us in surrounding cities. But we won't know in terms of next year will we be back at the 2023, or I guess 2024 event where, we were reaching capacity?
That's right.
Or will it be similar to this year? But now that we've lived through the 2024 where we did meet capacity and we had registration, we'll have to reevaluate leading up to the 2026 event of how can we kind of combine what we did for both to make it successful and enjoyable for the residents.
That's right. That's right. And then another question on the bingo event. And you guys mentioned that you got prizes for the event.
Correct.
I'm just curious where you got the prizes from or what the prizes were.
Yeah. So it ranges, and they try to keep it as kind of creative and different from month to month as possible. So our senior recreation leader, Isabella, does all of the shopping for it. And she usually goes to either Five Below or Dollar Tree and puts together like gift packages. And then if we have a sponsor, which is quite frequently from one of the, like Optum Healthcare is one of the more popular or more ongoing sponsors, or Scene Health, which is just adjacent to us in, I believe, at Alhambra. They will do gift cards for local restaurants, or they will do tote bags. They do the much bigger prizes.
Right.
We do kind of more thoughtful gifts, and they do the more practical, restaurants and things like that.
Sure. The reason why I ask because, and you guys seem to be doing it already, but there also is an opportunity for other businesses who would want to promote their services, right? And then, hey, give a gift card to, I don't know, whatever business would like to have some visibility with that. So
Yeah, we always welcome that.
that's great. Thanks.
I was going to ask for the 4th of July. I know you guys are planning to, take registration away, but would you want to leave that on for those to kind of get the fast pass thing?
Sure. So we would certainly be open to it. We would just need to find a solution that was not through Civic Rec, so something that people could readily register. Because I think the majority of our people would want to take advantage of the fast pass option since it's free.
That's why I think you leave it on Civic Rec. So
I see what
they
you're saying.
end up using it and registering through there, maybe announcing a few months earlier, say, hey, register through Civic Rec, get the fast pass, go early. But not, it's not needed, obviously. But you can have the separate pass and not wait. Kind of force them to, get on it. Because the earlier you register, you can't use that excuse as, I don't want to do this anymore, That's just my thinking.
That's great.
Kind of force them onto technology on the new system. They have no excuse going forward after that.
Sure.
And plus, it helps you guys with the count, right?
Yes, it does.
Kind of benefits you, so you help me, I help you with a little fast pass, and we're good.
Sure. No, that's
So-
great. Thank you.
And then the Grapevine Press.
Oh, yes.
Or how do you register, or where do you post this, or?
Yeah, so I'll say back in the day, it used to have a different name. I don't remember.
Back in my
what it was called. It actually was mailed out, and you could subscribe to it, but then no one subscribed to it. So staff were putting it together. We had a fee charged to it, but then it just didn't garner attention. I also have a hard time charging for something that really should be a public service, especially for our older adults, where the $5 a month to receive it might be more challenging for someone that's on a fixed income than a family per se. With all of that said, the Grapevine Press is put together and printed and distributed at the senior center to our existing population. And
Do you not post this on social media to grab new?
we do not, but that's a great point.
Okay,
Yes, it is on the website, but not on social media.
social media, yeah. 'Cause, I rarely go to the website, by the way.
Sure.
Social media, I see all the social media, so if I don't see it there, that's my lifeline personally. I'll know about things, so. Yeah, I only ask because I have one neighbor, she's an elderly lady, and she's home all day, so I'm just like, I would imagine, she loves walking.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I see all these things and it's something for her to do. So I'm just curious how we
Yeah.
can get them to register. So can can we create an online forum to send like, is this on can you do this on the email it out?
Yeah, we
as
certainly
well?
can email it out. That's not a problem.
kind of
So we have the
form or-
constant contact.
Yeah, I don't know, I'm just wondering, unless the printout is the only thing I can, give to her or any other neighbors I have that might be interested.
Yeah, so I'll also note that a lot of this information, especially like newer programs, will get pushed out through social media. So it's not that we don't push the information at all through social media. It's
Okay.
just like if it's a reoccurring thing that's, bingo every month. We're not necessarily doing that often. We will do it periodically. Like if numbers drop, then we'll do a push for that. Or like the senior trips that are at the very bottom of the page. If registration isn't very strong, then the PIO will go ahead and do a push for that. But in terms of the Grapevine Press, perhaps we could do a separate post to help garner interest in that as well. So that way they have everything at a glance versus just one thing that may be lacking participation.
Even if that one thing, have you tried it before, like send it like for bingo, let's do it every month and see if it increases the numbers, or does it stay stagnant, or have you not tried that?
For social media or?
Yeah, social media.
We haven't. I can speak with the public information officer to see what their thoughts would be, if that's something that we could do a reoccurring.
Just to see if it increases the numbers, I'm just curious. I think the more you send it out, the better the results would be, but I don't know.
Or if there's any statistics on usage, right? Because it could be, what I suspect is it could be printed out because it's more for those who are not tech savvy. But however, if the public information officer could let us know, actually, there's an uptick in, on an older generation that they're actually more into social media, and that will be a good way.
Well, even not necessarily just for the older, maybe their family members could see. It's like,
That's
hey,
right.
you know what?
That's right. Yeah.
They offer this at the city,
Mhm.
and then they'll know, so.
Yeah.
Just to be able to reach out to anyone, older, young, middle-aged,
Yeah.
everything, so.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because this is the first time I'm seeing this, so I'm just like, why haven't I seen this anywhere else? Okay. But that's all I had.
Actually, to segue into that, into this question, do we have a geographic statistic of those who attend? Is it still mainly more the ones around North San Gabriel?
For the older adult programs?
Yes.
It depends. It changes from program to program, in full honesty. So like our meal program has a combination of San Gabriel residents and Alhambra residents.
Okay.
Primarily because they removed their, I think they call them Asian meals. And so they only do American meals, again, as YWCA calls it. And so that has pushed a lot of that clientele who was going there regularly in Alhambra to San Gabriel to be able to access those meals. For example, we have fish days once a week, and the lines are crazy. It is very popular.
What
We have
kind
to
of
bring in
fish is it?
additional staff for that. What was that?
What kind of fish are they serving?
I honestly don't know.
I'm about to go pay my $5 fee.
I want to go too.
It is very popular, though. And so that typically gets, sorry.
Word was out about that.
So we definitely do very well on those days. And then if you're looking at like bingo, typically has more residents than non-residents. And then our like dances will have a larger population of residents, but it certainly does have a more regional draw as well.
In terms of specific geography within San Gabriel,
Oh, okay.
yeah, do we still have an issue with pulling ones who are more South San Gabriel to
North and
the
south?
events?
Would that be?
That I am unsure of. I don't have that information offhand, but I could
Okay.
certainly find that out.
Yeah, that would be very interesting.
Yeah, there's, sorry, I didn't mean to.
Oh, no,
cut
it's
you
all
off.
right. Because I think it was I think half a year ago that we had one of that concern as part of the agenda to start promoting on that end. And I'm not sure, and maybe since we have a good amount of events that we have had attended, it's a good time to look at statistics and see where we can start tapping into the ones that we haven't tapped into.
Yeah.
And I was thinking too, because It's especially with a public information officer, how the city markets, I know how complicated it can be. It's complex. The reach that we would have to do it depends on the actual demographic, right? And one of the things that I was thinking, and I guess we would have to figure out first how the statistics look like, and then we can tackle that as it comes. Yeah.
How would you guys obtain that type of statistic?
Sure. So we can look at the programs that actually have registration to see. For example, like YWCA, they register through the meal program, they register through YWCA, so we wouldn't have access to that information. And then the social bingo, they don't have to register for it, so it's just a drop-in program. So those drop-in programs would be harder to collect the information. So we would almost have to do like a survey of the programs we could do an engagement survey that happens to ask the question of, can you also include your residence, your address as well, or to even sign up for a mailer or something like that, and then through that we could get information. But it would be more challenging. I think the older adult programs, it's the most challenging to get that type of information than anything else because it has more drop-in than pre-registration. If you ask me for any of the youth programs, they're all registration based, so I'd have that readily available to you. But older adults, it's a little bit more difficult. That is true.
Can we just say resident, non-resident type deal, or north-south?
Yeah, we certainly could ask that information, but yes, as Adrian put forward, our older adults typically tend to be more hesitant, which is what we preach to them at all of our seminars, is don't give out information, and then we ask for it.
Yeah, then, okay, but fill this form out for us now. But I also think that a lot of people find out about the activities through all our huge events, and some of these older people may not come to them.
That's true.
Because there's so many people and they get kind of lost in the shuffle. Because I know usually you're giving out information about our activities, and if they don't come to them, a big thing happened when Rebecca can expound on this, when we put the first park in the south part of San Gabriel. They didn't even have a park south of Valley. They had nothing. And putting that park in there was a big bonus, so there at least was activities. But you're right, it's still kind of a desert area for information, I think, because they don't come to they could come to these activities, they probably are knowing about them, but I think you're right, that's kind of a desert area. It's difficult to let people know in that area. It really is. We don't have big events down there. And there's no venue to have big events. We have such a beautiful space here. And so, yeah, it's a tough one.
And so probably, and I see it in two ways, right? One is, number one, for us to find out the percentage of residents who actually come versus those who are non-residents. And then secondly, on who are the ones coming from the north end or the south of the valley.
Right.
And this could probably tie up to what the thrust of the city is, right? Because number one, it could be, is a budget actually going to the residents on what the programs are, number one, right? Because all of the efforts that we have invested in here, mostly the revenue that we get from the city back into the people who are living in here. And then number two, if that'll be the thrust, if I were to look at it at a nicer, a bigger perspective, that every resident of San Gabriel would be as proud as how I see it right now. Like, you know how when you watch college games, everyone is so passionate about the college. Can you imagine if each resident would be feeling that, even those who are there in the South, because they're being included and we know that they are participating, you know what I mean? And that's more of the bigger picture of it. But it'll be good for us to have, again, these numbers so that we can see how we'll be able to tap in that. Again, if that is also aligned with what the city is looking into. Because I'm pretty sure, you know, if I was a Denise, for example, or the city council, that will be great, right, for them to really see that, hey, our constituents are really appreciating the efforts that we're actually putting into the city.
I'm sorry, I have a question. How does the senior meal program, how do the seniors sign up for every day? Do they sign up every day, or do they go in to wait in line and get their numbers? How does that work?
Yeah, so it's another back in the day. So prior to COVID, it used to be where you would sign up the day before for the next day. And so you'd have to really go on a more regular basis. That way, then they could prepare the correct amount of food. But when we returned from COVID, the YWCA did away with that method, and now it's just first come, first served. It works in terms of there's less food waste, but it does make it a bit more challenging. So if you are a brand new participant and you're wanting to come tomorrow, for example, you would need to kind of know how the system works in order to be able to receive a meal that day. So every participant does need to fill out a form, I should say a large packet that they do once a year. Once they've done that, then it's just signing in at the time of the luncheon. The line starts at 10 a.m. and then check-in starts at 10:15, and then the meal is served at 11:15. So sometimes people are turned away. So if for some reason, maybe we've planned 65 meals, but there's 70 people that showed up that day, those remaining 5 people unfortunately wouldn't be served. If that happens, 2 days in a row, 3 days in a row, that gets reported to the staff at the YWCA office who actually place the order for the meals, and they'll up the meal count. And then vice versa, if there's 5 meals left over on a reoccurring basis, then they'll drop the meal count back down.
Is it pretty consistent, the numbers you get?
It is. It averages about 65 a day.
Okay, so it's not like you're going to have a real problem figuring it out.
Mhm.
Okay.
So if they sign that giant package once a year, and then they just check in that day for lunch, so you basically have the same group of people that goes regularly
For the most part.
for the most part. So for, just like you said, for the new senior that wants to join the lunch would be very challenging, very difficult, because first of all, there's no way they could sign in that day. Exactly. Or they still can come, first serve. For a new senior that wants to join the lunch, can they just walk in early and stay in, be the first in the line? Will you accept that person?
They most certainly can. So if they arrive, right at 10
Right.
a.m. and they're the first in line, they are guaranteed a meal. So even
Okay.
if someone has been coming, month after month, if they happen to not make that cutoff, then unfortunately they would be the one that didn't receive a meal. So it's kind of a win-win, but also a lose-lose depending on which end you are. But the YWCA has found that that's the best way to run their operations. So we try to, as staff, help facilitate that in order to, our way of doing that is being the best, providing the best information. So if people come into our office, we like to explain the process from A to Z, so in that way they know what they're getting themselves into that next day, or a week from then when they want to go for their first day. What we found is when people just arrive, they have a much harder time compared to if we walk them through it. I wish I could put that in bold font, like, please check in with me first and I'll walk you through it. But those seniors that do have those conversations with staff just tend to stick around a little bit longer.
So the good thing about pre-registration is because you do collect information from them, because they have to fill out their address and all that. So you
Yes.
actually get information
Yeah.
from there to see, it's a resident from San Gabriel or other city. So it'll be a good way to keep track, and then to see what we can do to improve that, to, maybe open up for more, senior people down south side of San Gabriel.
Yeah.
That's just a thought.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course.
All right, discussion of work plan. Commission members to discuss the work plan and determine what items could be added or removed, as well as work on items that we listed. As part of this discussion, the commission will review the community survey and the youth ambassador program. Adrian, do we have any public comments on this discussion item?
We do not.
Okay, the time for public comment is now closed.
I'll go ahead and walk the commission through briefly just the updates, and then I'll turn it over to you. So the work plan that you see now incorporates all of the amendments and adjustments that were made at the July 2025 meeting. So it should be as comprehensive as possible, and it will include adding back in the youth ambassador program, so appointing 2 of those youth ambassadors, and then adding in under 2B was the hosting a bike or sustainable transportation event at Marshall Park, and then 2C was host a resource fair at Marshall Park. And then item 3 was added back in, and then A is modifying resident survey and collect data with targeted questions to improve, enhance, and seek. I apologize, that something must have gotten cut off. I think sync guidance is what it was. But I've included in your packet the initial memo that has all of the questions that were being asked of residents. And so as a commission, you can certainly review those and determine, do you want to continue asking the same questions? Do you want to ask something brand new? I think there was, a question that was posed about adding resident versus non-resident, so you could certainly add that in here. At the time that this survey was pushed out, it was only given to San Gabriel residents. So the commissioners would ask, are you a resident of the city of San Gabriel? If they said no, then the commissioner would not issue the survey to them. So something to keep in mind. In the same packet were the most recent results, which were from 2023. So you're welcome to review that, and if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. But just keep in mind, it was in 2023, so it may be a bit skewed and may not as accurately represent the more current population in San Gabriel. Let's see. Sorry, there was one other item. I'll skip along to the Youth Ambassador program as well. So this tomorrow will be sent out to, it's the very last few pages in your packet. The packet will be sent out to all of the schools, so both the private high schools as well as the Gabrielino High School. So that way they have that and can push that out. And then it'll go on social media, it'll go out their e-newsletter. They'll have about a little over a month to apply, so a month and a day. It closes on November 7th at 5 p.m. All of those submissions will go directly to me, and then the interviews will be hosted in conference room A. So I have sent an email out to all of the commissioners requesting your feedback on which date and time would work best. So if you haven't responded, if you'll just kindly respond to Adrian. If for some reason you didn't receive that email, please let me know and I'll resend it. But otherwise, as I mentioned, the packet that you see will be going out. And then the very last page is the questions for the Youth Ambassador interviews from 2024. So it was requested to bring back these from the July meeting to tonight's meeting for your review. You have some time because the interviews won't happen until after our November meeting, so you don't have to decide on anything tonight. You're welcome to just take them home, and then you can finalize them at the November meeting, whatever works best. But otherwise, I will turn it back over to the commission.
Yeah, that sounds good. The only question I have is, or maybe any suggestions? I know when we did these surveys the last time, I feel like a lot of people are just hesitant to really want to talk to us while they were at an event. They just kind of brushed us off like, oh no, like they just didn't want to. They were there with family and just wanted to do and didn't want to ask for a survey. So I guess if we can think of a way to complete the survey and get a keychain, I don't know, something to get them to do it, or
Just a quick clarification. When was this sent out again, the survey?
we did it during the events. Whenever there's an event, they had printed out surveys and we
We had
just
a
go and
table.
talk.
People filled it out.
So as you can see, the numbers are really low because the majority of them said they weren't residents. So
Because the only concern that I had there is there's already participation, so the questions would be, it will be skewed. The answers to the question based on the situation where we ask the questions to. it's very skewed because these are the ones who already participated. But can you imagine if you, for example, ask someone who's out on the street in San Gabriel, right? So now you can't say if they're really, the benchmark is low for anything. It's not skewed to whether they're actively participating or not. So now we can really say if a regular Joe is familiar with the community service department, right? Because I would say there's a higher propensity for someone to say yes if they're already in an event. So is there a way we could send, like, I don't know, a mailer or something? Incentivize someone, like if you go to your next event, you get, I don't know. I mean, it's budget, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, so we can certainly do some sort of incentive. We have another survey, which is much lengthier than the 5 or 6 questions that are in here. So I think people will naturally be more apt to complete the survey. I would hold off on a incentive at first.
Okay,
I
that's
will
right,
say,
yeah.
I think the big difference in this survey compared to some of the other surveys is that it was limited to residents. So I think the concern at the time was if it is posted on social media or through our e-newsletter, we're going to get non-residents submitting and then skewing the results inadvertently. And so if the commission is open to it going to both residents and non-residents with that indication of are you a resident or non-resident, then you can sort the results accordingly. Then we can push it out through all of the other avenues first. And I
Sounds
think
good.
we'll have a fairly positive turnout at first, since I think the hardest part would be, as you mentioned, those that are maybe not actively engaged already. So if they're following social media, if they're on our e-newsletter, if they're at our events, they're engaged in some fashion. It would be those that don't know anything about us that would be harder to reach.
And I think, I'm not sure if this is a concern too of the city council, because of, we might, although, based, for example, on what Andrew said and what Anna said earlier, there's some increase in participation. What I suspect is we could be hitting the same people, and it's fine, right? Because you see that there is patrons who are really liking what the city is doing. But it'll be great if we have increased participation from those who weren't initially participating, right? And then it could also be an opportunity, for example, for city council to be known about any issues that they have, because they can actively just go there. It could be a way to promote, right? But I think it's a great opportunity. This survey, just this one, is very basic, but it can be very powerful. Right, especially if we get to ask the people who are really benchmarked to those who are anyone, right? You just go on the street and they would know.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's all I had for the survey. I mean, we just go to work plan now? Are we going to review this?
We could discuss
Or we
it.
good?
Yeah.
So for the survey, you'll think of something for online then,
Yes.
correct? And then for the ambassador questions, we'll review it and discuss next meeting? See if they're good?
Yeah,
Wanna
I
add?
mean, just to maybe do a quick comment based on last year's, I think we did tweak it a little bit, right? And I think based on what we tweaked, it was good. We
Yeah,
got
it was
good,
good.
yeah.
We just
So,
got,
Yeah, so it,
2 new people here, so.
so at the very least, just for Sherry and Mary,
Yeah, I can take a look.
yeah, I don't think it's something that we should
Dwell too much. on
sweat,
it. Yeah.
sweat on, because I think it's fairly okay, unless you guys have something really strongly that you want to, that'll be great, but at least it was effective, and based on this packet that we were able to send out last year, the youth ambassadors that joined were pretty awesome, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty good, so,
So yeah, you guys go ahead and review that, and we can, if you have anything next meeting, we can
Yeah.
discuss that. All right, let's take a look at the work plan.
Yeah.
What are we doing? So one, create new inventive programs and services to engage the entire community. So A, provide new programs to residents with age groups 13 to 18 and 30 to 50.
I think the last time that we discussed this 1A, at least from what I remember, that the team is pretty good at innovating. Yeah, they're pretty good at innovating and creating the programs. So it's really, I think the concern now is figuring out, it's optimizing the participants.
So working
More
on what we
than-
have now.
Yeah,
Building on what we have now.
more than what the programs are, because, I mean, just heard it from Mary and Sherry too, how the events are pretty good, and we see in the numbers how the participation is going up. It's really optimizing. And I think that's one thing that we can probably edit this with is, and if you guys agree, now not providing new programs, but figuring out the
Build on participation
Yeah.
for the programs?
or optimizing participation, meaning I'd say less non-residents versus promoting to now those who are not participating who are residents. Because it's kind of funny, for example, we're feeding our neighbors, but I forgot to feed my child who's in my same house. You know what I mean? So it's just that kind of principle. And not that I'm not open to, for example, people from Alhambra coming in. It's just that, can you imagine if there's some constituents that are neglected that actually need the service, right? For example, hey, ride SG, we actually have a trip every day from 10 o'clock. If you could just ride that, it goes to the park, so feel free. As simple as that. So now, if everyone knows it, now we're bringing all of them up, right? Something like that. But it's really optimizing the participants now.
The other thing to consider, if you want them to come up to events up here, is some of these, especially the elderly, don't have the transportation. So we need to let them know about our ride share, which is really great right now and inexpensive.
I was
But
going to say for events, can we designate certain spots in South San Gabriel? Say, hey, we're going to have the Ride SG or shuttle or something here,
Right.
6 o'clock or 6:30, before the event starts. That way they know, regardless, to just go there and you'll have a ride.
Oh, sure.
Instead of using I don't want to say not use the app, but it just makes it easier if they know one spot at a time,
Or a
at what
routine,
time,
yeah, specific time, every day, for example.
Right, and this is when, if you want to come to the meal, this is where we can pick you up and get you there on time, so that
That's
you're
right,
not
yeah.
out of it. I think that's almost more important, especially if it's the seniors and they're limited in how they can get around. Let them know about these activities and get a ride.
Yeah.
I think that's even more important than having them come to, say, our big events, because
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they'd be more
Oh.
interested in this, our Grapevine Press activities, than maybe just coming to a larger.
That's right.
We don't know, some of them may have mobility issues as well.
Mm.
Once they get here, they might have mobility, where that can be taken care of if they come to the senior events. How
Because,
to get that information to them, again, is another problem.
That's
That's
right.
what we're dealing with.
because I think, for example, these ones, the adult programs or the
Right.
everyday ones, the smaller ones,
Right.
are
Those are
more
great.
powerful.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, because they're very relevant. Now, the big events would be big events, right? If you're actually in the smaller events, you would know the big events.
Right, that's what, yeah, good point. If they're coming to these, they'll find out about the bigger ones, and if they want to come. But it's probably good, if they don't really know anybody, to start out at these smaller, intimate things, and somebody can say, hey, why don't you come meet us at the big event coming up? So focus on letting them know about this, and that to get there, they can use the Ride SG. I mean, it's a big ask. I mean, we're asking you to do a
Yeah.
lot, but.
Just gets the gears,
But it
gears
has to
moving
get
a little,
started
maybe.
somehow. And to me, we need to focus the seniors. Younger people know about it. It's the seniors that don't always know. And like I said, they may not have a way to get there, and they have mobility issues, and those need to be addressed as well. I'll be quiet.
But I think we're actually on the right path. Because, for example, this survey is already on the right path.
Right, right.
Us just finding out, for example, the geographic locations of, or the residence of the participant is already on the right path.
Right.
Right, and then, again, knowing is half the battle. Once we figure that one out, we could easily put it in. So I think just on our tracking, so that we will be more in line with what we're focusing on, just to edit this 1A to, instead of provide no programs, is just to figure out optimization of participants.
Are there, I'm thinking in a little different vein than than having them fill out a form, but just to get this picked up, this grapevine press that gives them all the information they need, do we have them located, like, say, in the grocery stores down in that area? Or is there a church that we could just set it out and say, hey, I mean, that's where you're going to get, in my mind, some of the seniors that need the help.
That's a good idea, grocery stores.
Yeah.
Great. And I think
yeah.
that's usually where we have, what you're mentioning now is the hardest part we have, because I have some people that will come into our facilities and have never heard of Right SG, but they are
Right.
current residents and need the service.
Right.
So that's great.
Yeah, they need to get there. And I know money's an issue, but I would think that just printing these off front to back and putting a stack of them in, say, the big grocery, was it Hawaiian grocery store down there? Put them in there, and if there's a church down in that area, I'm not that familiar with it, that would be another resource, I think.
Yep.
See what kind of response you get from them picking it up. Just a thought.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
great.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
All right, moving on to B.
Yeah. I think the silent disco.
Now, the silent disco was
the right
good.
direction.
I was thinking more athletic, though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, as a parent, what do you think? Do you think it's in line, the 1B so far?
Yeah, we've got silent disco and swim, which we didn't have before, so that's awfully better than nothing.
That's right, the swim, even, there was a segment, that's right, that's good.
So the only other thing I was thinking is they have a VIP soccer, which helps with those on the spectrum, and then a challengers baseball, which is also for those on the spectrum, which I haven't heard, so I need to look into that one. But sports-wise, that's about it. I know, I think I told you I signed up my son for one of the sports clinics before, and they weren't,
Right.
it was too fast. It was
The ones that you mentioned, it was Challenger Sports, is that?
challengers baseball is what I heard. So I don't know exactly how that one works.
And it's adaptive in nature.
Mhm. Yeah, actually, Eileen told me about that one.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, and she kind of mentions, like, I'm not too fond of that name, which makes sense. Like, why would
Oh.
you name it that? Like,
That's
but yeah,
fair.
that's what they have. And then VIP soccer, very important person soccer. So I don't know if that's part of AYSO, a sub program of theirs, or if it's an independent program. But that one's really good. You have a one-on-one with you playing soccer, so you have a buddy running with you, kind of showing you how to play. So it's usually youth. So I don't know how they get those youth, I guess.
Mhm.
If they come here and say, okay, do you have any high schoolers who want to do it, or if they bring their own people, or
Sure.
how that. But sports-wise, those are the only two that I know of.
And that one was very
VIP.
important person soccer? Okay.
I have a question. We're still talking about this age 13 to 18 and 30 to 50 program that you guys.
The B, we're on.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, never mind. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
I just thought about disability there. Sorry.
But did you have anything?
Because we're no longer, I guess, looking for new programs, just kind of building on what we have now.
That's good. Thank you. That's all.
So yeah, other than that, I was hoping maybe spring swim would come back. But you guys need to discuss that, so. Other than that, I think I had mentioned to one of the officers, I can't remember her name, I think you connected me with her.
Maybe it was Esther?
I don't remember. But I had mentioned having it was in regards to the bikes, having learn how how to ride your bike type.
Oh, maybe it
Clinic.
was Stacy?
Stacy, I think so. That's probably a smaller thing I was thinking that we can do that, I don't know, wouldn't cost too much. But that's pretty much it. I mean, again, I'm not trying to start 100 new programs. If I can just get one, I just need to throw my ideas out there so I can
Oh,
get
no,
it out.
that's
And
good.
then,
I think, and to give credit to you, I think a lot of the direction with this is because you were voicing out about your situation and about your family. So it was great that the team was already able to just come up with that in just the past few months. So I think it's impressive. I think one of the things that we could do is just keep track of, and I think Matthew's already doing it, to have a list of these, and every time that every time there'd be an opportunity to just keep putting it in and discussing, because you would be a very great resource for this right now, especially that you're actively on it too. I mean, us even, we're being more aware because of that, so.
well, me doing this is bringing awareness to everyone else, so that's one of my goals as well. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all the ideas I have. Like I said, just throwing them out there, make a list if you want, and then we can discuss. But yeah, the silent disco was good, the adaptive swim was definitely a good thing, so I would love to see that again in spring. And then, yeah, the two soccer and baseball sports, and I don't know, ride a bike clinic. I think that would be a nice little simple thing, but again, I'll let you decide that, how that would work. But yeah, that's all I have for that, for 1B. I don't know if you guys want to add anything, if you have any ideas, but.
I'm okay for now.
I think it's nice that we have a variety here on the commission, because you have special needs, you have young family. I'm not that familiar with Mary, but she's big into pickleball.
We got the sports over here.
And sports, and I'm the senior on the group. So we can bring different perspectives into it. I think that's so healthy, because we wouldn't know about what you need.
And that's why we're having a youth ambassador.
That's
We're
exactly
getting-
right. Oh, and I see we're having 2 Youth Advantage?
Correct.
Oh, okay. I wasn't paying attention.
I mean, moving
30 and 50.
Yeah, that's
I
next.
I didn't even notice that.
So 1C, continue
Okay,
youth ambassador
I
program.
repeat, I'm the senior. Okay, moving on.
So it looks like we were going to appoint 2 ambassadors to, what, assist?
Yes,
Or what we're going to do?
Yes, so it would be appointing two youth to serve as youth ambassadors.
Oh, 2
They would
youth.
serve a
Appoint 2
6-month
youth.
term with their first
Okay.
meeting starting in December.
Okay.
So it would end in May,
Cool,
would be their last
December to
meeting.
May.
that's great.
Do you know if we were able to give the other 2 the certificates?
Yes, I ended up mailing them.
Okay, okay, very good.
Yeah, so I guess we're
So
still
we,
in line with that.
yeah, so we're
Pretty
good.
shape, I think, aren't we?
Do we want to cut it off here, save this for
Yeah,
November?
Because I think.
Because we
even
kinda
number 2,
discussed-
We kind of discussed,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so let's review 2 for our next meeting.
Yeah, and if
Yes,
that would
it
be
is.
helpful if we could get that information from the PIO. And
Sure.
And at the very least, I'm not sure when the team will be releasing the survey, if that will be an inclusion in the way we'd ask the questions, is to figure out the vibe of non-participants and the ones who are, for example, more the south of Valley.
Got it. Yes, so just to confirm, are you wanting staff to push out the questions 1 through 7 as listed, or did you want to make amendments to that before we push it out?
For the
I guess?
survey?
I have a note that we'll add in the resident
Your
versus
marketing, right?
non-resident.
Yeah.
Your marketing, I'll leave that to you.
Well, the thing is, these are, just looking at it, these are really good questions, but they're a little broad. But I kind of understand why, because if you're just giving it to someone, it's the easiest way for them to answer.
Do you want to look at these and email Matthew?
Yeah, can I dive into it and then just send an email on my feedback on what I
Sure.
can?
Yeah, and what I might suggest is if the whole commission wants to kind of regroup.
yeah, that's right.
And then just everyone can provide their final feedback, and then we'll push it out after the next meeting. So it's going to delay, your deliberation on some of the other things while you're waiting for feedback, but that way you can really finalize it, and then we can spend the next year from there pushing out the survey, because
That's right.
we'll push it out in bulk, in intermittent time, so in that way we're not constantly bombarding people. We'll do a push and then, wait a month or two and then do another push.
That's right.
And then incorporate the incentives if needed as well.
So yeah, maybe just to guide everyone on how we can assess this, it's up to you guys, of course, and based on your comments.
I suggest Darwin do that.
I mean, I could really jump in this, but,
And then you send us out the possibilities.
oh yeah, I could do that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
why don't you do that?
okay.
Because otherwise, we're just going to get a bunch of random things and it won't be very focused. You can,
Oh, yeah. I got it.
I think you should.
I got it.
All right, so I guess we'll save the rest for next meeting.
Mhm.
And
Sorry, just 1 second. I just want to make sure that we're not, the most urgent one is the youth ambassador, so we're okay. We're good on that one. Okay. Just want to make sure nothing gets pushed off that needs to be discussed, yeah. Yep, okay, we're good, at least on my end.
all right, everyone good? Nothing else? All right, commission reports. Each commissioner may address the Community Services Commission and public on matters of general information and/or concern. This is also the time for commissioners to report on any conferences or meetings they have attended. Commissioner Kevin?
Yeah, I can start off. Mostly it just happened this weekend. It was a busy time for me. On Saturday, and I've done this for several years, it's a speech contest. It's put on by 5 or 6 organizations, Asian American IPAC, Hope, San Gabriel, and all these groups, and they've done this for several years, and I've been honored to be a judge for them. And it's for middle school and high school, and I have to say, I am always so impressed. I think our future is in good hands because they do such a good job. So I went to that on Saturday. Mayor Menchaca went for the first time, and she was very impressed. She'd never been to it. And City Councilman Tony Ding is a big instigator in that as well, so he was there. And then we all raced home to come to the symphony. And did anybody else go to that? Oh, my Lord. Rebecca's smiling. She knows well, first of all, she knows what a task it was to get it going. This is the most amazing thing, in my view, that has come to the Mission Playhouse, period, bar none. It was phenomenal. Do not miss it. However, they were basically sold out. And so if you want to go to the next one, which is at the Chinese New Year, I believe, get your tickets early or call in because you're on the commission. And I was fortunate to meet with the conductor and the co-founder. And did you see the article I wrote? I know Rebecca did. Yeah. I was fortunate to interview them when I found out they were coming. The conductor and the fellow who put it together is 26 years old. I kid you not. The co-founder's, I think, 35. I asked him, the first question I said is, did you just get up one morning and say, I'm going to put together a symphony? And basically, that's what happened. And if you'd like, I can email the article, because that tells, I had a fabulous interview with him for about 2 hours and wrote the article. And they put together a symphony. It's almost 100 or more musicians that were on that stage, I believe. And Rebecca, you need to know that Alex Dang, who is the conductor, said that the staff at the Mission Playhouse are the best that he's ever worked with, and he goes all over the world. He said that if I asked him to do something, it was done. He was so impressed with your staff. So you have a big fan, by the way. But it was the most amazing music. The only downturn, and I'm sure Rebecca's familiar with this, and this will come back to you, they were supposed to start at 7:30, but the line, I don't know that they expected that many people. There were so many people still coming in, and they had to go through security. Is that correct, Rebecca? Yeah. So they didn't start until, 8? 8:15. It was worth it. Nobody cared. They were so good. They weren't done, they were supposed to be done at 9:45. I think they got done at 10 or 10:15, but amazing, amazing. You can go online and see some of it. If you're going to go next time, make sure you get your tickets early, because it'll be a sellout crowd again. All ages. Now, this particular, the reason he wanted to do a symphony here, because he goes all over the world, and he said, I decided I just want to be at home. He's from Alhambra. He said, I love San Gabriel Valley. This is where I want to spend the rest of my life, and I want to provide concerts for everybody, so they don't have to spend a fortune to go down to Disney or go to New York. This was a concert you would see in New York City or at Disney Hall and pay a fortune. You don't pay that here. Yeah, and you can just park on the street too. And even if you park in the parking lot, it was absolutely amazing. Just to give you an idea of the quality, the gal that was the major pianist flew in from London to play for this. So does that give you an idea of what the quality was? Were you there, Matthew? Oh, my goodness.
Now I feel bad I miss it because one of my kids, Khaleesi, she plays the violin.
Oh. Some of the music is on YouTube. If you want, I can send you the article, because they had some embedded in there for some of the songs were actually composed by people these are new compositions. Now they have old and new, but he wants to attract some more young people to classical music instead of playing the same old stuff in the same old crowd. So I highly, highly recommend it. They are going to put San Gabriel on the map as well as all the other things we have. Unbelievable. They signed an MOU, with the city of San Gabriel that they will do 4 concerts in the next year. And then they're looking forward to being there when the mission has their 100th anniversary. So I think they're going to be around. And they were doing wonderful social activities right on Mission Street in businesses before the concert. A couple days before, one evening before, they were over at the Factory Tea House, Factory Cafe. Yeah, Factory Tea Bar, and they had 3 or 4 cellists playing some samples for the customers there. I mean, they're all over social media. It's amazing. And it's called San Gabriel Valley Symphony Orchestra. Well, just symphony. I asked him, why is it symphony? It's the same thing as an orchestra. But it's also officially, it's called Arts Bridging the Gap San Gabriel Valley Symphony. But if you just put San Gabriel Valley Symphony in Google, you'll find out all about them. You'll hear their music, and we are so blessed to have them here. So thank you to Rebecca for working with them on that. They have actually approached, the co-founders, Albert actually approached Mayor Menchaca because he knew her. And it started from there, and then they worked with Rebecca, and what a gift to the city. So I will be quiet now, but put that on your
Wow.
Good to know.
It's fabulous.
All right, Commissioner White? Okay. All right, Vice Chair Rodriguez?
So I was able to go to one of the movie nights.
Oh, Silent Sundays?
The Thursday. Yeah, the park. So the kids and I biked there. We were able to watch Encanto. But it was so well organized. Everyone was just there, chilling. You have some food at the back. I thought it would be crazier. Like kids running around. Everyone was just there watching. And you have some, So it was pretty nice. Weather was good. It was kind of chilly that night, but you see people with their blankets and it was good. Secondly, I started playing pickleball recently. I'd say probably 2 months. I know. I know.
Just like, what?
And you're married. Now I understand the whole craze of it. I used to be such a snob because I would play really active sports like basketball and even tennis. I was like, it's pickleball, you won't even sweat there. And then I started playing it, it was good. Now I understand all the craze of why it's always full. It's always full. Yeah, well, I mean, I play at Smith Park.
Which day?
It's random. I've been on hiatus for the past month only because my knee has arthritis. I'm not too young. But now I understand. So even with all of the discussion before the pickleball, so I think so far, at least for those who go, it's always full, a lot of people, and even the people who are there, there's a good system. It's just hopefully, it could be expanded. But I mean, that's just my take on it. That's how I felt in the past 3 months that I've been playing pickleball. And one thing, I think this is more of a services thing. Is it an avenue to say that too?
Sure, it depends on what it is.
Oh, it's for the parking permit. It's for the parking permit. Is it still, or is it
For
only
the parking
events?
permit, since it doesn't fall within our department, we can talk about it after the meeting.
Okay, that'll be great. But yeah, so far, the movie night, pickleball, and yeah.
Let me add just one little thing that you might be interested in knowing for youth. The symphony has a step-by-step program, and they work with the public schools in San Gabriel. And they will let kids who are practicing or learning to play an instrument can come and get involved in the practices and possibly play with them. And they get free tickets to the events. So that's something, you said, Khaleesi, yeah. So if you know some people, keep that in mind. That's a big thing, I think.
All right. Myself, I have nothing. Pretty busy with being on 2 PTA boards and photographing work, so haven't had time to really go out and do anything. All right, staff comments. Staff members have the opportunity to address the commission and public on matters of general information and/or concern.
So thank you for all of your kind words about the Mission Playhouse and the San Gabriel Symphony, because that perfectly led us into our staff comments. So as you may or may not know, the Community Services Department does also oversee the Mission Playhouse. Although we don't talk about it super frequently, it is a portion of the department. To that end, one of the items that we're working on now is the strategic plan. And we are doing some focus groups. There's also a large survey that is out. It's about a 15-minute survey, so it is a hefty one. But we certainly encouraged everyone to apply, so that went out through our e-newsletter, social media, as well as the City Beat. So we did receive several responses, more than several. I think the last time we checked, it was like 78 responses for a 15-minute survey. That's a great response. So thank you for working through it. We appreciate it. But furthermore, the consultants, the arts consulting group would like to meet with the commission to get your feedback as well, so your direct feedback. So we're not going to ask you to take the survey, but we would like you to sit down with the consultants and work through some of those questions that they would like to pull from you directly. So I will be sending you an email with additional details, but we're looking at October 15th at 5:30. So I will send you an email, and if you could just confirm whether or not that works for you, it would be here in conference room A. And then it looks like they will be here to facilitate that in person. The length of time I'm not 100% positive on, so I'll confirm what approximate end time we'd be looking at.
It's Wednesday.
I sure will. It's about an hour.
So just to let you know, I'll be out of town. I won't
Okay.
be back till the end of October.
Okay.
All right.
Can you send us the link in that email too?
For the survey?
Yeah.
Sure.
Just so if we're going to discuss it, I'll have a better idea
Yeah.
of what's going to be
That's great.
discussed. Okay. And I'll complete it.
And I think that is all the comments we had.
Can I bring up? I almost hate to bring it up. Our October fun fair,
Oh,
the contest.
yes.
Yeah.
The costume contest? Yes,
All that.
I'm happy to to share more about that. Since
I'm hesitant to bring it up because I don't want to volunteer, but we need to talk about it.
Yes, I
publicly.
appreciate it. So the Fall Fun Festival, the annual Fall Fun Festival is coming up on October 24th from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. We'll have a costume contest and haunted zone, food trucks, trunk or treat, as well as game booths. So we already have, I think, 15 community booths that are signed up.
good.
And I'm sure we'll start getting more flowing in. We started pushing it really early compared to last year. So we've, I think, already had more people sign up than we did previously. We do need more people for trunk or treat. People really like doing the game booths, but the harder part is getting people for the trunk or treat because you have to decorate your trunk, and that takes a little bit more time for people and a little bit more commitment. But we do need more people there. The costume contest and the haunted zone do have a pre-registration option, so we encourage people to do that. Especially for the costume contest, there's limited space available, so if you don't pre-register, it's possible that your age group may be filled by the day of the event. For haunted zone, we work people in throughout, kind of in between the designated time slots. But even then as well, potentially you may be waiting in line for quite a while compared to if you just did the Fast Pass, which you would have that designated time slot. It's about a 15-minute window. So all of that is on our website as well. So people can click the link and then it'll go directly to our registration page for the costume contest and haunted zone. And of course, other information is listed there as well. But we do need judges for our costume contest. So if you are interested, if you're interested, feel free to shoot me an email and we'll get you signed up. You will be working with Adrian and Anna, as well as some of our part-time staff. Adrian is always our fantastic fearless leader for the costume contest. As you know, she's very detail-oriented, and that is what we need in that area. So feel free to send me an email if you're able to commit to that. It's about an hour and a half commitment, so just keep that in mind. It's, an hour and a half to 2 hour commitment.
Just so you know, if you're going to judge, we usually wear costumes, the judges. And then there's different age groups, which is kind of nice. The little bitty kids, and then up to the high school.
Was there always a limit to the age groups, or is that new?
Yes, so we've always had a limit, but we've tried a couple different methods, which is just day of registration, kind of leaving some for day of registration, but what we've figured is, or what we've discovered is that having a capped amount for each, and then just if it fills type of process, versus trying to accommodate day of registration and getting over capacity, then it becomes less fun for those that are participating and the people that are viewing. Because if we try to have 80, 100 people in one category, it becomes overwhelming to watch, it becomes overwhelming to facilitate, and then kind of it's a lose-lose for everyone. Yeah, and to judge.
No, I only ask because I did the last 2 years, I think. And the younger groups, there's a lot. So that's why I was surprised. You said you never reached the capacity. I'm like, there's still more room.
Yeah, no, we definitely reach capacity for that
Okay.
youngest age
Okay,
group.
okay.
Yeah, but the other, like the
older the kids, there's
usually we have one or two.
It's easy peasy.
It's a fun event, and everybody looks forward to it.
For the trunk or treat, is there a registration form or anything for that?
Yes, so I'm happy to send out anything.
Can you send that to me?
Yeah.
Because my son's elementary is having a trunk or treat, so maybe I can send that over to them and see if any of the parents want to do it 2 weeks later.
Definitely. Thank you for reminding me of that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, because I knew the volunteer part was coming down. That's all right. You got to do it.
Was there anything else? That's it. All right, adjournment. The next regular Community Services Commission meeting will be held on Monday, November 3rd, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. Information regarding matters to be considered at each meeting will be available on the Friday before the Community Services Commission meeting on the city's website at www.sangabrielcity.com. This regular meeting is now adjourned at 8:27 p.m.